This video is brought to you by MathGalaxy.com. This is our fractions program which covers these topics, and in this video we're going to be looking at multiplying simple fractions, i.e. those without any whole numbers, so like 1/2 times 2/3. Multiplying fractions involves subdivisions, taking part of a part. For example, say your family had a backyard where your parents wanted to plant 2/3 of it in vegetables and use the last third for something else. And let's say you were one of their 4 children, so you were going to get 1/4 of this to plant. Well, that's fraction multiplication. Of means multiplication in fractions. So let's say you were going to get 1/4 of this to plant. So that means your parents had to divide each of these thirds 4 ways. Cut this 4 ways and this 4 ways and give you 1/4 of this section and 1/4 of this section. So since it was originally cut into thirds and now into fourths, there are 12 plots for a 12 if you think of the total yard. And you get 1/4 of this, 1/4 of that, which is like saying 1 row of 2 each. Which can also be reduced to 1/6. So here we have 3/5 of a whole to start, and let's say you get 1/2 of that 3/5. So if we cut everything here in halves, that's going to give us a whole of 10 pieces, and you get 1/2 of this 5th, 1/2 of this 5th, 1/2 of this 5th, or a total of 1 times 3, or 3 pieces. So 1 row of 3 each. So the basic mechanics of fraction multiplication is you multiply the denominator across and you multiply the numerator across. Here we are taking 2/5 of 1/2. So we have the 1/2 divided into fifths. We get 2 pieces out of 10, which can also be reduced to 1/5, dividing top and bottom by 2. Okay, but you can also reduce the fraction at this stage. So we have to say 2/5 times 1/2 by dividing top and bottom by 2 here, as long as you do it in pairs. If you reduce the top number by 1/2, you have to reduce one of the numbers on the bottom by 2. So you multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Okay, so here we have 3/4 of a whole to start with, and say you are going to get 2/3 of it. So that means we have to divide this into thirds. So since it was originally divided into fourths, now we're dividing these into thirds. The whole is 12 pieces, and you get 2 rows of 3 each, which is 6. So the answer is 6/12, which, dividing top and by 6, can be reduced to 1/2. Okay, so, but we can also reduce it here, as long as you divide top and bottom by the same number. So here, if you divide top and bottom by 2, 2 goes into 2 once, into 4 twice. Then dividing top and bottom by 3, as long as you do them in pairs, one of the top numbers and one of the bottom numbers. Then you multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So that's a shortcut for reducing at this stage of the problem. You can only do this with fraction multiplication when it's in a proper or improper form, which we'll see more of that later with mixed numbers. You can also do fraction multiplication with whole numbers. So, for example, 3/4 of these is how many? So you're taking parts of a whole number, parts of a group. So 3/4 times, what's this, 5, 10, 15, 20. So 3/4 of 20. So you can just put the whole number over 1. So it's sort of like using our shortcut. 1/4 of 20 is 5, and then 3 times 5 is 15. So like if we divide this into fourths, so in effect we have 4 groups. 4 into 20 gives 5, and then 3 of those groups is going to give us 15. As another example, 2/3 of 30 is how many? Well, you could think of it as, first, 1/3 of 30 is 10, so 2/3 would be twice that, or 20. Or in our fraction multiplication format, 2/3 of means times. 2/3 times 30, you put a whole number over 1. So dividing top and bottom by 3, 1/3 of 30 is 10. So 2/3 of 30 is going to be 20. If you want more practice, you can go to MathGalaxy.com. The program has 2 modes. One mode talks you through the problem step by step. The other mode, you only give the final answer. And when you exit the final answer mode, you get a score, which you can also print. And this creature down here is a robot. You earn a robot for each problem that you do, which you can use in a maze game called The Labyrinth. There's also another game that's like Wheel of Fortune, where math problems give you clues to riddles, and word jumbles is the same except with word jumbles, and also a game called Bridge the Swamp. This has been a review of multiplying simple fractions. If you want more review and practice, you can go to MathGalaxy.com. Thank you for listening.